Today we're making 3 fried chicken sandwiches from 3 of the World Wide Web's most popular chefs. Each has their own vibe, each has their own specialties, but today we're gonna pit them against each other to see who makes the best fried chicken sandwich. All right, so we got 2 Joshes on the docket today, go figure. So we're gonna spread them out, starting with the king of shaming fast food establishments, the one and only Joshua Papa Weissman. All right, so let's start with Joshy's sauce. Josh made a Korean fried chicken sandwich, kind of known for its sweetness and its spice. So the main star of the show is this gochujang, which is just fermented Korean chili paste that is a little sweet, a little spicy, and it's what's gonna give this sauce most of its body. Vinegar, dark soy, mirin, brown shugs, young chop, honey, always a blast to get out of the container, gochujang. Now we just whisk until most of those lumps come out, then we're just gonna let it simmer until it reduces and thickens slightly. And last but not least, the garlic. We're just gonna cut the heat, stir that in, and that is our sauce. Should have a nice viscous, kind of like tasu looking dark reddish sauce. So Josh's sandwich is pretty simple. The only other component we gotta mess with is making a slaw. So let's do it. Pop that in your bowl. We got some scallywags, thinly sliced. I really like how herbaceous the greens are of the scallion, and then how strong and pungent these whites are. And we're just adding both in today. In go the scallywags. Then we just got some kimchi. I already pre-chopped this up because it kind of makes the cutting board all gnarly, so just went ahead and did that. We're gonna plop that in. Just gonna do the juice of a lemon for acidity. Now add a big pinch of kosher salt. This is shiro dashi here, which is actually can be used in a lot of ways, like an instant soup mix or in sauces. In this case, we're just gonna pop it in our slaw because it's gonna add sort of this like an MSG fermented vibe, salty, so you can be a little liberal with it at first, then taste and adjust. Excellent, excellent. Last but not least, some QP mayo. This stuff's great because guess what it has in it? MSG. Oh, this is the worst thing ever. Putting a glove on wet hands. No matter what you do. All right, that looks great. Let's give that a taste. All right, let's fry some chicken. All right, so Lord Weisselderpel has a pretty interesting fry situation. He basically adds a little bit of flour and a little bit of potato starch, which is very classic for Korean fried chicken. So it's gonna add sort of this crunchy, glassy texture, which is really nice. Smart thinking, Weissman. Add a pinch of salt to that and whisk. And for the chicken, he says optionally marinated overnight. We're gonna give him the best chicken we could possibly make. I just took a couple boneless, skinless thighs, popped them in some buttermilk, seasoned it with a pinch of salt, and let it sit in the fridge overnight. Weissman's chicken calls for a 2-station wet and dry setup, meaning it's from the buttermilk marinade directly into our starchy dredge, then it's in the fryer for a single fry until nice and GB. Don't be alarmed if your Korean fried chicken comes out a little paler than, you know, classic American Southern fried chicken. The starch actually doesn't get as deeply browned as, say, a flour might when it's just by itself. And that's because flour has protein in it and gets brown from the Maillard reaction, whereas starch just doesn't. And do not forget to season with a pinch of kosher salt. Cool. We'll put this aside and get going on our next contestant. All right, next in line, Brian Lagerstrom. This man is known for his beautifully aesthetic, super clean, crispy, beautifully lit videos. Also, the dude looks like he makes killer pizza, which, you know, I respect. So, Brian, if you're watching this, dude, let's make some pizza. Also, gotta say it, the dude's got impeccable hair. I mean, come on, name a YouTuber with better hair than that guy. Look at, can we put a picture of Brian's hair right here? How about on my head? How do I look? Brian's got a couple fried chicken recipes, but I chose this one because it just looks really good. All right, let's start with the sauce. This is a cool technique. We're basically making a dressing, an aioli, whatever you want to call it, in a jar. I'm actually gonna start with an egg yolk in there. Then we got some buttermilk, sour creme. We have some shallot. I'm gonna do a little bit of lemon juice here. Pour that. Ooh, okay, drop the lemon on the floor. We're gonna run that back. Little piece of garlic here. That's in there. Kosher salt. Pinch of black pepper. Creamy cow's milk blue cheese. I'm just gonna cut this up because just like Brian said, the pre-crumbled store-bought stuff isn't nearly as good as just buying a little wedge like this and adding it yourself. So to recap, you're gonna wanna pop everything but the blue cheese into that jar, trap the egg yolk with your immersion blender, and start blitzing. From there, slowly drizzle in the fat, in our case a neutral oil, until things start to emulsify and get creamy and thick. About halfway through using up all the oil, you can start to move a little faster, and boom, there you have it. This is basically a flavored mayonnaise, or if you want to be a fancy boy about it, an aioli. It does need a little bit of salt, so I'm just gonna add that in. We're gonna add our chunks in there. Chunk Nation. Yeah. All right, next on the docket for Brian's sandwich, we have some buffalo sauce, which is actually extremely easy to make, like shocking and weirdly easy to make. Let me show you. If you're going straight minimalist, all buffalo sauce is hot sauce, butter, and a little bit of salt. But we're gonna add in a few other things to flavoritize our sauce. McDerber sauce, a little bit of vinegar, minced garlic, it's about 4 cloves, and a bunch of butter. We'll pinch of kosher for good measure. Bring it up to a simmer, whisk in the butter, make sure it's all mixed together, and boom, literally that's it. That's buffalo sauce. Now you know how to do that. Go ahead and add that to your LinkedIn. So we'll set that aside and get going on our Chicky. Brian's Sando features a classic southern fried chicken. So we got a 3-station dry, wet, dry setup featuring plain all-purpose flour, seasoned all-purpose flour, just with what you see here. So we got garlic powder, black pepper, paprika, and cayenne. And for the wet, we have some plain buttermilk with a pinch of kosher salt. One creative tip that Brian teaches is to drizzle a bit of buttermilk in the dry flour mixture to hydrate it slightly. This creates clumps that stick to the chicken and give it that craggly, crunchy exterior that we've just come to expect with good fried chicken. Once again, we have our jumbo boneless, skinless chicken thighs that were not brined or salted or anything overnight. These are straight up.
We're going in raw.
I personally dig this dry, wet, dry setup because I think that extra layer of flour helps the buttermilk stick to the chicken and it creates a thicker coating. And you know, who doesn't love the breading on fried chicken? That's what gives it all its crunch. I mean, look at that chicken. That is looking darker than the memes on my Discover page on Instagram. All right, you know the drill. Hit it with a pinch of kosher salt and set that aside while we get working on our next Josh. For our last contestant, Josh from Mythical Kitchen, the offshoot from Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link. This is maybe the weirdest chicken sandwich I've come across on the internet, straight up. And that's saying a lot because I go down some weird rabbit holes. This sandwich features Takis of the blue variety. And matter of fact, the entire sandwich, well, almost the entire sandwich is blue. So let's get going here. All right, so the Mythical Blue Sandwich starts with Mythical Blue Hot Sauce, featuring blueberries and blue spirulina powder. All right, let's start with a little canola oil, a little bit of shallot chopped up, and we're just gonna sweat this down a tiny bit until it's fragrant. Bloobs. These are chipotles in adobo. They're literally smoked jalapenos in a sauce. Un, deux, trois. Tiny pinch of salt. And you can't forget the blue component of the sandwich because everything's gotta be blue. Look at that, dude. That's crazy, dude. Over the top there. Oh my God, dude, look at the spoon. While this is reducing, we're gonna make a quick blue cheese mayo sauce to go with our blue Taki Sando, which is exactly what it sounds like. A little bit of blue cheese. Mayo. Go figure, mayo is in blue cheese mayo. And a little tiny bit more of that blue powder. My God. I mean, that's one definition of blue cheese mayo. Blueberries have broken down for the most part. It'll thicken as it cools as well. And we couldn't make this sandwich without talking about these crazy pickles. These are literally blue Kool-Aid pickled onions that I made with this blue Kool-Aid mix. And they actually do this in the Mississippi Delta with all sorts of different colored Kool-Aids to like actual like whole pickles.
Oh no!
Oh yeah!
Yeah, it's a thing. Kool-Aid pickled onions. All right, we have our Blue Heat Takis. And sadly, I'd be lying to you if I said that I haven't tried these before. That doesn't really look like that, but very citrusy. Very, very, very crunchy. I don't know if you can hear that. That was just an excuse for me to eat another one. Just a little bit of flour. Just look at this. All right, this is where things start to get a little unhinged. Mythical Josh opted for chicken breasts rather than thighs, so I just marinated those in a little spirulina-laced seasoned buttermilk overnight, and this is what we're left with. So here we just got a not-so-classic dry, wet, dry mixture, again with flour, then buttermilk, which he also whisked eggs into, and our Taki dredge. Wow. Yep, that's what I'd imagine Sully's left ass cheek looking like. All right, what do we got? We got dry, a little bit of seasoned all-purpose flair into the buttermilk, and finally, the Takis. Dude, it's the Volcom sign. That's one breasticle. And this is why we wait till the end, so that our blue oil doesn't affect the other Sandos. Not too much. Remember, these are Takis after all, they are seasoned. All right, that madness is over. We are done with all of the components to our sandwiches. Let's build. All right, the moment of truth is upon us. All of our Sandos are built and ready to go. Let's eat them. Let's go Joshua Weissman's. You got your brioche bun, slaw on both sides, long pickles, and your Korean barbecue potato starchy chicken. You gotta flip this over, all right. Gotta unhinge my jaw for these, so. Tangy, pretty sweet, especially with the slaw. I love how you get a kind of like a, you know, pickle's gonna be in every bite there because of those like thin little pickles. The chicken continued to stay crispy, which is pretty cool, even though it's been sitting in sauce for a minute now. Maybe I'm gonna do Brian's next. Dang. Dude, that is picturesque, man. Let's go. That is a classic buffalo chicken sandwich. Let's see here. We got the potato roll. He mentioned that you can use store-bought brioche, or if you want to go extra above and beyond, make his potato roll recipe. I didn't do that, but I got a bakery-made potato roll, so that's cool. Talk about crispiness. I was talking about that with Weissman sandwich. This is even crispier, even though it's been sitting in that buttery hot sauce for a long time. Butter lettuce, nice for color. I can't really, you know, taste it on there because there's just so much going on. So many strong, spicy flavors. But I mean, dude, that blue cheese sauce, oh, it really does make it. I definitely have a love for like saltier things rather than sweet things, so this hits home for me, especially just with that tang from the buffalo sauce. Okay. Mythical Kitchen's, what do we call this, Matt?
The nasty patty.
The nasty patty. Tell me that doesn't look like a nasty patty. Come on. It's weird, man. The hot sauce, pretty sweet, but it's spicy, so they kind of counterbalance each other. The onions taste weirdly like Kool-Aid. I know they're Kool-Aid pickles, so they definitely taste like Kool-Aid, but dude, it's like, I thought they would almost taste less Kool-Aid-y, if you will. But they don't. They're very Kool-Aid-y, very strong. The blue cheese, again, very strong. That color almost makes it more strong in a weird way. Yeah. All right, it's time to rank these things. Coming in third place, taking the bronze. I think you probably already know who it is, but it's gotta have to be our blue boy here. And it's not just because of the blue color, it's just not really balanced. It's a little sweet for me, and the Taki flavor is a little strong, but it was fun and it looks cool, so cool. Josh, this doesn't mean your forearms aren't still diced, bro. You're absolutely stunning. You're a jacked Adonis young Prince God. The silver, second place. JW coming in at the 2 slot here. This thing's been sitting for a second here, so we're getting a little sloppy, but this is a great sandwich. It's just a little sweet for me. I love Korean food. I love Korean barbecue. It's probably my favorite thing to eat. There's just something about that sweet gochujang sauce that I just don't really want a lot of, and honestly prefer with beef over chicken. I know apples to oranges, different thing, but I will say, Josh, your slaw, fire, dude. The shiro dashi in there, it's almost like this smoky, fishy, bonito like vibe, and it's a great play. This is a great sandwich. It's balanced, it's tasty, and it's a close second. This isn't like an easy decision for me, which means the gold. Big Brian Lagerstrom's buffalo chicken sandwich. The mixture of the acidity between the pickles with that sort of vinegary punch from the sauce, and then to cool it all down, you got that creamy blue cheese. This would also be good with ranch, but I'll tell you right now, I've said it before, I'm on Team BC. I'm a blue cheese what? So I love it. Also, you love to see a potato bun. I mean, these days everything's on brioche. Brioche is great. I'm not hating. I'm not trying to be like a bread hipster. It's just cool to see it, you know, in the spotlight a little bit. And potato buns are soft and good, and there's a time and a place for them, and this is that time and place. So Brian, pat yourself on the back, clap it up. I wish I had your hair. All right, so now that we've tasted all of these, divvied out the rewards, let's take the best qualities from each of these 3 sandwiches to Frankenstein together the ultimate fried chicken sandwich. I decided to dry brine the Chicky in a Creole seasoning called Tony C's, which is a fairly popular choice over at Mythical Kitchen. Then it's into some seasoned all-purpose flour, buttermilk, then back in for a second round of dredging to ensure that ultra-crungly shattering exterior. Crungly, the new word, crungly. I double fried for ultimate crispiness. Remember, double frying always yields a crispier, crustier thing. If you watch any of my videos that I fry in, I go into depth on that. And of course, you gotta season fresh out the fryer, so I'm hitting it with a touch more Tony C's. To build, we have Brian's toasted potato roll, followed by Mythical's hot sauce, that blueberry chipotle vibe, Weissman's slaw and pickles, our Chicky, Brian's blue cheese sauce and butter lettuce. I just think it looks nice. And a touch more of that hot sauce just on top. And boom, there she blows. The ultimate fried chicken sandwich mashup made with love by some of the best YouTube has to offer. Woo! Baby, that looks fantastic. Look at that blueberry, dude. That actually looks really cool color contrast wise. So a little bit from everyone in this sandwich, right? This is the ultimate, if you will. I will say. And that's the end of our Chicky adventure. If you dug the video, like the video, you know the YouTube guy stuff, but it does help our channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing, join the posse. If you're not new here, that's me love shooting you in the face with kisses. Join the Discord, we're having excellent chats in there. Best way to support our channel is by donating over on Patreon. Guys, it's literally $5. Appreciate you if you can swing it. If not, it's all good. So yeah, until next time. Later.